Ladies and gents, welcome back. I'm going to try to catch you up on what's going on in the Netherlands with the farmer protest. There's a lot going on, and there's a media blackout on the whole subject. I doubt you'll even hear about it much in your mainstream news. So let's get into it. Here we have on Twitter, Marie Oakes. Dutch farmers have been protesting in the streets for days against the government's plan to target the livestock sector with nitrogen emissions cuts. The Dutch government said the honest message is that not all farmers can continue their business. Just straight up saying, nope, you're not going to be able to do what you're doing. We have reports of initiatives to buy back farmers' lands, and if they don't agree with the buying of their lands will just be confiscated in the future. Small farmers, this is from Sky News Australia. Small farmers in the Netherlands are desperately fighting back against their government's radical nitrogen emissions policy. Sky News host Rowan Dean. And I'll give you just a brief taste of what he's had to say.
We are seeing what happens when the left and the climate cult start implementing their crackpot schemes to save the planet. You see, none of these net zero climate schemes work without massively disrupting or even destroying the lives of the little people. Small businesses, family farms, mum and dad enterprises, ordinary family life. In Holland, currently, there are massive demonstrations. You won't see them on the news because the Dutch authorities are literally shutting down small farms in order to slash nitrogen oxide and ammonia emissions by 2030.
2030, strange date to note there. We have undercover cops or agent provocateurs were spotted in the crowd and chased back to their police vans, while the undercover cops were clearly being violent here. They were just being shouted back into their police vans. These agents apparently were trying to cause a ruckus. We've seen this before. Hey, haven't we, Canadians? We've seen this before where peaceful protesters gather and, well, violence ensues, but not on the side of the protests. So we have Kian Bext reporting here, the farmer protest here in the Netherlands is 100% peaceful. They're outraged, yes, but these protesters and the leadership of them are committed to nonviolence. The police, well, not so much. Netherlands, and here we have it, the supermarket shelves have gone dry. So there's been a run on the supermarkets. Obviously, canned goods, people were not keen on taking those. I'm not sure what was there. But the produce sections and all of this completely empty. Supermarket shelves in the Netherlands today. No farmers, no food. It's a matter of fact. That is just the way it is. Here's more from Kim.com. Supermarkets in the Netherlands, inspired by the Canadian truckers' protest, farmers in the Netherlands are blocking major distribution routes in protest against the government. Truckers and farmers now, show the world how to defeat corrupt politicians everywhere. Now, this is Dutch police shooting at farmers. Evidently, I don't know if this was actually a shooting. There was a case here. Those aren't rubber bullets. Police are firing at protesters, reported by the Real Andy Lee Show. Dutch uprising. So there's a bullet hole in the side of a tractor here. And here's a police officer drawing his firearm on men in tractors, farmers in tractors, just protesting. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, when you shut down the business, well, there's a last stand. You might as well take your last stand here. Here we have the World Economic Forum declares war on agriculture. This is the Prime Minister of the Netherlands speaking here.
Agri-food sector should be stimulated and able to create scalable solutions. And here I'd like to highlight a World Economic Forum initiative in this regard, the World Economic Forum Food Innovation Hubs. And these hubs in Africa, in Asia, in South America and in Europe will allow businesses to connect regional stakeholders to skill innovations, because this is key. Skill innovations that can address food systems challenges. And here, I'm particularly proud to announce that the Netherlands will host the Global Coordinating Secretariat of the World Economic Forum Food Innovation Hubs, which will connect all other food innovation hubs. And I believe this is important because it will be facilitating to create the partnerships we need.
Partnerships that you need from Davos. So what do we have here? We have central authority planning. We've never seen that before, right? Well, Chairman Mao tried it. We had the Soviet Union tried it. It always ended in disaster. It's always turned out that the market economy was the thing that kept the world going and lifted many, many people out of poverty, but they never stopped trying. They never do stop trying. And this is the Davos group trying to put together their central authority and their central food regulation, food system of governance. And they're doing it on the auspices of climate change. We have ABC News reporting on the situation, showing the ruling coalition wants to cut emissions of pollutants, predominantly nitrogen oxide, so NOx, and ammonia by 95% nationwide. When they say nitrogen, it's deceiving. Is it nitrogens or is it nitrous oxides? Nitrogen oxides. By 50% nationwide by 2030. There's that date again. That sounds like a Davos date. Ministers call the proposal an unavoidable transition that aims to improve air, land, and water qualities. It's not only farmers being targeted. In the past, the government also cut national maximum speed limit on highways from 130 kilometers an hour to 80 miles per hour to 100 kilometers per hour during the day as a way of reducing nitrogen oxides created by vehicle engines. As a person who works in the automotive world, that's just absurd. It's just absurd. Dutch farmers are in full revolt over World Economic Forum control. We have another article here. The problem began with the Dutch government used its nitrogen policy, alleged excessive nitrogen emissions, to acquire land from farmers. Oh, now the picture is broadening. They're acquiring land from farmers. They're not just telling them what to do with their land. They're actually acquiring land from farmers. They want to use the land to quickly reduce the number of livestock by 25%. The plan is also to use the land for sustainable forms of agriculture. I've heard other reports saying that it's for the purposes of nature reserves. It sounds like something from the Georgia Guidestones. If you don't know what that is, look that up. It's a land grab to control the supply of food the government approves of supplying. Prime Minister Rutte is a New World Order, Liberal World Order stooge. He is allied with Justin Trudeau and the entire World Economic Forum. There we go here. We have the counter signal reporting on this. Blockades were taken down following emergency ordnance order. Seems like a familiar plan. Several blockades have been violently taken down following the declaration of emergency ordnance orders in response to the Dutch uprising. Blockades taken down. According to the Netherlands Post, roughly 200 fines were handed out on Monday, and at least 7 have been arrested. Probably held without trial and without bail. It's not like we're unfamiliar with that kind of tactic. Late last night, the Dutch police mobile unit used tear gas to disperse protesters in Heerenveen and break up a blockade at food distribution center. So we have more of these this imagery. Again, links in the description down below. According to Podal, most, if not all, blockades have been dispersed as of Tuesday evening GMT after several municipalities announced emergency ordnance orders, which gave the police unprecedented powers to intervene, not unlike the Emergencies Act, which Canadian PM Justin Trudeau utilized in response to the Freedom Convoy. They explained that the protesters were given an ultimatum: leave or face police action through it, though it was ultimately left up to the police as to whether they intervened. These emergency orders were declared in Hackensbergen, Dachshund, I'm not going to be able to pronounce these correctly, but Gaten, Hengelo, Heerenveen, and Nijkerk. Sorry for the massively bad mispronunciations of those, amongst others. Reporting live from the Netherlands, TCS editor-in-chief Keenan Bakst says the Netherlands government has passed policy that has been suggested and pushed by Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum. Its policy will see nitrogen pollution cut in half by 2030. Now, along with cutting nitrogen pollution comes cutting farms, cutting farm production, and cutting farm jobs. And like I said before, usurping land. This is actually a land grab situation where they're actually they're telling farmers, we'll buy your land from you at our own set price. And, well, if you don't go along with that, we will just take it. We will just take it. Anyway, for the purposes of making this video not go too long, I will cover this more as developments come through. Again, as always, links in the description down below. And it's an unfolding story, and it's crazy. It seems to be paralleling what happened here in Canada over vaccine mandates, but now it's climate mandates. And, well, it just seems to keep on growing, and more situations like this are happening around the world. I've noticed things that are happening in Italy on social media. If I find more information on what's going on there, I'll be reporting on that. But as it stands, this is what I have for you this morning, and we'll take it like that. Anyway, we'll see you guys in the next video. Keep on trucking.